Welcome to this best practices video where you can get an idea of what you could see and hear in classrooms for this unit on representing and interpreting data. What does this line graph make you think of? It makes me think all that time students use to try to sneak on web pages they're not supposed to be going on, when they could be making some nice line graphs instead. These are the two key learning goals related to the two benchmarks for this unit, and these key learning goals are from the STEMscopes parent letter. The first one has to do with creating and interpreting tables, line plots, and line graphs, and students are using whole numbers, fractions with a denominator of 1, 2, 3, or 4, and decimals to the hundredths. The second key learning goal has to do with using numerical data to find the mean, which is the average, the mode, which is the value that occurs most often, the median, which is the number that falls in the middle of the data set, and the range, which is the difference in the highest value and the least value. What should we see in the classroom to help students achieve these goals? Here are some examples from the STEMscopes Explorers. First, students could be collecting data, which could include whole numbers, fractions, or decimals, and creating a line graph or a line plot of their data. This video example has students measuring how long it takes to blow a cube off the desk, keeping track of those decimal times to the hundredths, then creating a line plot by labeling their line plot with the title and the intervals on the number line, then placing the dots to represent each time collected where it belongs on their line plot. The second video example shows students placing data in order from least to greatest so they can find the mean by adding up all the data values and dividing by the number of values, the median, which is the number that falls in the middle, the mode, if it has one that occurs more often, and the range, which is the difference in the highest and lowest value. And these could all be examples of MTRs 1, 3, 5, and 7. The types of questions we ask will influence the types of conversations the students have. Here you will see some of the STEMscopes math chat questions that will encourage students to think critically about what they are doing. For example, this first question will help students see the difference between mean and median, which is often close in value since they essentially are both looking for data in the middle. However, this should also lead to students discussing that the median is the value that falls in the very middle of the data set, and the mean is the average of the numbers, which can at times be very different depending on the data set. This next question should elicit students thinking that it allows them to easily see the data, or that making the dots or X's even will accurately reflect their data. This last question should get the students talking about how there might not always be a mode, but when there is, they can see what value is more common. These can all be a great way to demonstrate MTR4, since they lead to a discussion that allows students to reflect on their classmates' thinking as well as their own. As students are participating in classroom discussions, we should hear them using vocabulary words like the ones listed on the slide. This list is from the STEMscopes parent letter. These vocabulary words will help students explain their thinking when talking about data. Throughout the unit of study, we should see multiple opportunities for students to show their understanding of the content. For example, students could be showing their work in their journal during the Explorers. In this first Explore lesson shown, students are gathering data, making a line plot, and answering questions related to their line plot. This next example shows students listing a data set in order from least to greatest, then finding the mean, mode, median, and range. Once students have shown understanding on any of the Explore lessons, students can follow up with the Show What You Know activity. This one shown is from the line graph lesson. Here, they're creating a line graph from their data and answering questions about the line graph. Another way students can continue to practice after they've shown understanding with the lesson is by playing an interactive game that uses what they've learned in the unit. These activities will give the teacher opportunities to informally assess the student's understanding. Here are two questions or tasks that teachers, administrators, or parents could ask of the students to gauge their understanding. These are from the benchmark pages in SMASmarts. These could demonstrate MTR 1 and 5 since students are involved in effortful learning and using the structure of organizing their data to help them understand it better. We want students to continue their learning at home. These are two activities from the Tic-Tac-Toe board on the STEMscopes parent letter. For the first activity, students are looking up the temperature for their favorite city and using that data to create a line graph. For the second activity, students are getting family members to write their name as many times as possible in 2 minutes, then creating a line plot with the data. For example, if 3 people wrote their name 6 times, then there would be 3 dots or X's above the number 6 on their line plot. This could be a great way to demonstrate MTR7 since students are applying what they learned to the real world. Hopefully this video gave you a better idea of what you would see and hear in the classroom while students are working with data. See you next time!